right, back in Brindlewood Bay.
Certain death.
We had just left the mayor's office after the mayor was found dead, nude, shriveled and dried, soaking in a small pool of water. So the sheriff and oops. The sheriff and George, Brindlewood Bay's mortician and solicitor, stay behind. But they ask you all to leave, so the two of you, along with Wilbur Simons from the Deep Reaver, leave town hall. Oh, let's put us there. City Hall. Storm is still raging. It's the first day of the new year. Town's pretty bustling, lots going on. A group of small children are being led through the streets by the local teacher. There are two teachers in town. And this Mary Jo Ellen. She is. It's just animatedly like walking, talking to them, trying to keep them in line and in file. It looks like they're heading off towards the marina.
What, she's leading children?
Yeah, it's like it looks like her class, her school class, is taking them
Is
on a little field trip.
those kids don't need to be seeing that creature.
Wilbur says, "Ah, so you've seen our great catch, Father. What did you think of it?"
Well, I must confess that I did not see it up close, but it didn't look like anything that is a part of God's creation. Although I'm not a fisherman, but everyone seems to be a bit mad about it.
It is quite a thing.
They have a right to be father. And also, I heard me brother took it aboard, so. And I kind of look at Wolf.
Aye, your brother, he was a good man. We tried to find him. I'm sorry for your loss. But his sacrifice is a great boon to Brindlewood Bay.
Just like Matthew Walsh's, eh?
Without Matthew, we never would have found the thing, and without your brother, we never would have caught it.
Oh. Well, if it was such a great catch, there's sure a story behind it, eh? Other than just normally hauling it aboard. It's a tale worth telling. If you're willing to tell it, Wilbur. And
He almost looks around a little nervously and looks back at you and I'm in a rush now, but maybe we can talk later. Good day to you, Father. Gives you kind of gives you a look, like holds your eyes for a minute. Turner, and then kind of heads off in the direction of um, Bonfire Cliff, sort of that edge of town, which is also kind of where that's like where Kip's house was, and it's kind of like where some of
Okay,
the lower class housing is in that part of town, near the quarry.
gotcha. So not heading off to what's now deemed Suicide Cliff. Got it. Just
Right.
Tarzan.
It's got a new name now in the town.
Yeah.
Uh,
Before he goes, he says he's like, I'll talk to Mr. Hawthorne about getting the family some compensation for their loss. Then he kind of heads off.
is the teacher still in view, or is she out of view now with with her students?
They're still nearby. They're kind of being rowdy and just all very excited, not moving very fast through the
Gotta make sure they all
courtyard.
stay. None of them stray. None of them
I'm
wander
just
off.
I'm just very concerned. The marina is not a place for children anyway. At the best of times.
Well, the marina can't hurt them normally, but as I've seen the beast's father, I'd have to agree perhaps it's best they stay clear of it if that's the way they're heading.
She's the sister of the doctor.
Yep. You hear a voice
Oh, now I'm hearing
kind of
voices.
yell out suddenly. Well, we know the father is definitely.
Oh, yeah, the voice of God.
Yep. Kind of a deep man's voice, and you hear him yell out, "Mary Joe, Mary Joe," and she responds, "Eric, you made it." And you see this man, an older man, with a mustache and kind of a light beard, and wearing very fine, almost like a suit, tuxedo, and a top hat. And they hug, and then you don't recognize this man as a citizen of Brindlewood Bay. And you see them kind of talking, and then she gathers up all the children, and he starts kind of talking to them, and they're all listening very intently. And they're suddenly, what was a group of very rowdy children is now enthralled with whatever this man is speaking to them about. But they're just too far off in the distance for you to really be able to hear anything over the clatter of all the horses and people around you and the storm going.
I am going to move close, although I'm not trying to hide the fact that I'm moving close. And I'll do my best, despite the circumstances, to have a smile on my face.
You kind of get there at the end of his little speech, and he was talking about prehistoric creatures and giant monsters that used to roam the world before humans. And he kind of finishes as you get near enough to hear just the last little bit of it, and Marilyn goes, "Clap, clap, everyone!" Like gets all the kids to start clapping. She's like, "Everyone, thank Mr. Ibon for his presentation for us. He's going to be spending the day with us. If you have any more questions about dinosaurs, don't feel afraid. Feel free to ask them." And I'll show him to you now. So you know his name is Eric Ibon. She sees you, Father. Father, do come here, Father Bauer.
Hello,
You
Mary
must
Jo.
meet. So good to see you. How was your New Year's?
Oh, it goes well. And how are you faring?
Oh, just fine. I'm a little tired. I wasn't up too late, though. You must meet my pen pal from Boston.
Oh, I thought I
This
hadn't
is.
recognized him as a citizen here. So it's always good to meet new people. Hello,
I'll
Father
hold this
David
hand out to you.
Bauer.
So, Professor Ibon,
Good to,
anthropology.
ah, And what brings you to our fair little port?
Well, little, yes, maybe, but not in reputation.
Hmm.
Mary Jo Ellen was telling me about the Deep Reaver excursion, and I heard it returned, and so I came as soon as I could get here. I wished to see the catch.
Turner, who is also the father over here, and is a little bashful towards Mary Jo, but asks, "So you be thinking it's one of these dinosaurs still roaming the earth or something like that?"
I believe many such creatures still exist, especially within the ocean. This could be just a creature out of time, some animal from prehistoric era.
Well,
I'm quite eager to see it.
it's most certainly not a creature that I have ever seen before.
Well,
Yes, well,
it'd be unnatural, that's for sure. But there are tales of the odd fish being caught at three eyes and whatnot, so
Mary Jo, were you?
unnatural,
Oh, go ahead.
you would say. Many things which we are unfamiliar with might seem unnatural, sir. I have spent time in deep jungles and rainforests, and some of the things I have seen there would also seem unnatural to you, but I assure you, we are all creatures of God.
well, I don't know if everything is creatures of God by chance, but sometimes men seem quite beastly after going off into coming back from journeys such as the Deep Reaver took. Come back changed.
He kind of gives you a quizzical look, raises an eyebrow, and says, times of tribulation will test the mettle of any man.
Hmm.
And then he holds his hand out to you and says, Professor Eric Iban,
Ah, Turner O'Neill.
it is good to meet you,
Taylor
Mr. O'Neill.
kind of takes it, shakes it slowly.
A
The young
sailor, you
lady.
say?
Aye, me brother's one of the missing.
He His grip gets a little tighter. It's almost as if he tenses up a slightly when you say that, and he kind of lets go of your hand and says, looks to Mary Jo Ellen and back to the father. He says, "There were missing crew members from the Deep River excursion. You hadn't mentioned this in your last letter, or your last telegraph, I should say." And she says, "Oh yes, two men were lost. It's very unfortunate. Mr. Turner's Uh, Mr. O'Neill's brother was one of them, young Jeff. He was a fine boy.
Aye, and the other Matthew. Aye. And what was that fancy word you were using there? Mr. Eric Anthro
Mr. Iban.
or Mr. Iban. Mr. No, no, some Anthro something or another.
Oh. Anthropology, yes, that is my field of study.
Aye, aye. And what does it study exactly?
All sorts of things, really. I personally find history to be quite fascinating.
Mm-hmm. Anything about, I don't know, Sumerian in that field by chance?
What did you say?
Anything about Sumerian
Oh.
in there by chance?
Ah, Sumer, the great city, yes. Considered the first civilization by some. Not by myself, though. I do believe there were older groups of humans who knew a great many things. We are entering a world of technology and industrialization, a world which people such as the Sumerians likely never fathomed. But there are some schools of thought that even these ancient civilizations held great technologies beyond that of our own, things that we could never fathom.
Hmm. No, no. Just because Turner's a trusting sort, he's gonna also add, aye. Anything with these Sumerians about wearing golden masks wandering about?
It looks like he's thinking for a second and says, while I'm no expert in the theology of Sumer, I do believe the Golden Mask has a general um, is used as a general symbol for purity, godhood, selflessness, the greater the lack of individuality, and the greater whole, so to speak. It was widely used in Greek mythology as well.
But you didn't like suddenly like get all nervous again by the looks of it when I mentioned that. When Turner mentions that.
Not particularly.
Okay.
Not like you've seen his other kind of reactions. He seemed unfazed.
Well, we're about to either set something off here or
Father
uh
and Mr. Neal, won't you join us and come see the creature? We're on our way to the marina now with the children.
Well, that's was that Mary Jo who said this? Or
That was Professor Ibon, but Mary Jo then like kind of takes a step in closer to Turner and says, "Oh yes, do come with us." And she kind of grabs your hand with hers lightly,
well,
gives you a coy look.
that is well, Mary
grab
Jo. That
Turner's hand or the
Yeah,
father.
Turner's hand. Turner.
Okay.
Mary Jo. That is why I've approached. Well, I don't want to tell you how to do your business, but I don't really feel the marina is a place for children. I mean, in normal circumstances, it is a working environment. It's, with all due respects, Mr. Turner, but sailors can be a rough sort sometimes, and for around children, are you really sure it's best? And they're all a bit different down at the marina. This creature has caused quite a stir, and it's just not as friendly. I was just concerned.
Turner, seeing how upset the father is about the Marina, will also kind of pipe up and just be like, also, they be disassembling the ship, so to speak, so there won't be a lot to see. Unfortunately, as the Marina usually is a good place, even for children, but as of today, seems to hold little to go gawking at.
The professor pipes up again and says, "You say they're dismantling the ship. Would that be the Deep Reaver you speak of?"
Yes, something about mathematics and engineers, but as a sailor, let me tell you, it doesn't make much sense to me, but
He turns to Mary Jo and says, "Mary Jo, perhaps your friends are right. If it's as hectic as they claim down at the marina, the children could get lost or hurt. Let's meet up later and postpone. I'll plan another um, exposition for your students.
Hmm.
And she's like, yes, I suppose you're right. We'll go see. I'll take them by Mr. Atherton's instead, and they won't know what they've missed. Come by the schoolhouse later and find me after my lesson. And she kind of kisses him on the cheek and
What's that
gives
sort of pen pal?
Turner like a sidelong glance and kind of smiles shyly and then herds all the children away.
He kind of blushes as I'm assuming her hand leaves his, and he goes, "You also might want to be checking up on your brother, Mary. He seemed a little frazzled after our encounters last night."
Thank you for your thought, Mr. O'Neill. I shall seek him out. Professor turns back to you and says, gentlemen, I must say I am still quite intrigued and am going to go see this specimen that the Deep Reaver returned with. Care to join me? And
I have no problem doing so. I have another question though for you on the walk there, at least. If you'll, if it's answerable and humors you.
are you going to go with them, Father Bauer?
Yeah, I was about to pipe in. I suppose I could go along for the walk, though. We shall see how it is today, how it compares to yesterday. I may hold back a bit, but
Aye, Father.
do you know the way, Professor?
I have been to your fair town before. I
Oh,
think I remember the way there.
when were you here before? I thought this was your first visit. I'm so sorry for assuming that.
Well, it is merely my second. I am still new. I was actually um oh. Oh, here it is. Um I was actually Mr. Dearborn's professor at Boston, which is how I met young Mary Jo Ellen here.
Oh, oh. Yes, that's right. He did study there. Now it all makes perfect sense. After you,
He
Professor.
starts walking. Yeah, he walks
Ah,
the
well, Mr. I Ivan, you might want to prepare yourself in terms of the smells. It was a quite strong scent the beast carried. And almost as he says that, he swigs his drink and hands it to the father. Maybe not so much to take liquid spirits, but to mask the smell for the father who was affected so much last time by it.
I better not.
Just to mask the smell, father, you need to waft it near your nostrils.
Oh, okay. Sorry, I thought you meant to.
If you need to wet a rag with it, feel free.
I could dab it on my upper lip.
And Mr. And he'll offer it to Mr. Ivan as well, if he wants to take it.
He gratefully takes a swig out of it.
Now, Mr. Ivan, is your field of study also cover the languages of of the past and these civilizations?
Why linguistics happens to be a bit of a passion of mine, actually.
Ah, yes. Well, a little phrase has been sticking on me mind, and my father here unfortunately wasn't in his Latin, so I was wondering if you could maybe shed some light on this here phrase.
Which one do you tell him? Oh,
I'm sure you know what I'm gonna say,
I'm gonna.
which is why I said it's either about to kick off or he's gonna be very interested in getting more information. I would like to say the Cthulhu Fatagan one.
Figured.
Yeah, not as emphatically, of course, but
He looks. He's like he's thinking. He's. Very interesting, Mr. O'Neill. May I ask where you've heard this phrase? I would need some context, I think.
saw some. Well, more heard some figures chanting it nearby recently during the height of the storm.
Chanting. He pulls out like a small notepad and is kind of trying to like hide it in his coat a little, like away from the water. And he just starts writing some things down in it. He kind of reads it back to you, what he heard you say. It does appear to be, well, the repetitiveness of the verse I see would be, and he's just kind of like trying to formulate these thoughts, and this Cthulhu, I've seen this somewhere, but it is not a phrase or a word that comes up often. I believe it is a proper noun of some sort, even a name perhaps. A name or a place.
Hmm.
You said you heard people chanting this phrase over and over.
Yes,
Here,
yes. And might have caught a glimpse of a golden mask or two, which is why I ask about that.
I see. Well, it's definitely not Greek nor Sumerian.
Hmm.
But I shall look into this for you. I've brought some of my library with me. I'm staying at the seaside. I will do some research. This is fascinating. Thank you for bringing this to my attention. This is why I became a professor. Mysteries such as this.
Aye. Now, even though it's not in this, uh, in those cultures, they be using Sumerian by chance?
No, I don't believe so. Sumerian culture has not been widely studied.
Hey, Father, you have that word they've been using? The one on the stone?
I should play or I forget what that was.
Yeah, I would say it doesn't actually have. You weren't able to figure out how to like pronounce the symbol or the
Oh,
what
that.
it.
Sorry.
But you could rewrite
Yeah,
the
this.
symbol from memory, basically, for gate,
You
whatever.
probably could have. Yeah, you'd have a drawing of it or something. I imagine.
Yeah, it looks something like this, and I draw it in the dirt.
His eyes kind of go wide. He scrutinizes it a little, and then hands it back to you. Says, "I'm afraid I have no idea what this could be. Where did you find it? Where did you see it?"
It was inscribed on a stone that was.
Now, did his eyes go wide from recognition, or from just like interest in us doing that?
Or just how great my drawing was. Just that, well,
Yeah.
I would
artist.
I would say you probably almost registered it as a look of surprise.
Now, it seems you'd be recognizing that symbol there, Mr. Ivan.
Oh no, I don't believe I've ever seen it before. Where
Oh,
did you see it, you said?
It was on a stone. We found it in a clearing up on the. Oh, I forget the name.
In the quarry.
In the quarry. We
in a circle of the chanting people we said not a moment before. And I kind of give him a smile.
It was all very strange, and I don't know. I some strange dreams afterwards, or it's hard to explain. But
I mean no insult.
the last day and evening has been altogether something I could do without. It's all been very strange. Starting with the arrival of the Deep Reaver, or the return of the Deep Reaver with this strange creature.
I mean no insult to you, gentlemen, and is merely from the stance of an academic that I ask, but are you sure you have not... Have you been getting enough sleep? Say there were a circle of people chanting in the quarry and you found a rock with a stone on it. You've experienced these things together.
Oh, yes.
Aye.
He looks just really intrigued and says, and pray tell, what other strange happenings are you referring to then that you have experienced in the last day? And now you've arrived at the marina and the stench hits you.
Well, let's say that for one, and I'll point at the beastie that he wants to see real quick.
Kind of takes a sharp breath in and like stands up pretty straight and just does not take his eyes off of the creature and just starts like his speed picks up a little bit as he moves towards it. And he seems almost solely focused on it. Doesn't look at anyone around him, doesn't look at the Deep Reaver, just like beelines for the thing.
I'll follow closely.
I will be a little bit behind, but
Rouse and Barrett are standing with a few of the men guarding it. The crowd isn't quite as thick as the day before, but there's still a lot of people nearby and trying to look at it. And as you approach, Iben just goes right up to it and just begins moving around it and kind of examining it. Barrett sees you and says, Turner, we don't need any of your trouble again today. Kind of moves to block you from wherever he thinks you're going.
And Turner counters it. Won't be trouble unless you're starting it, Barrett.
ooh,
Just like crosses his arms and kind of gives you a stink eye. Kraus pays you little heed, keeps talking to his men. There's
No, I
another
mean-
man. You go ahead.
I was just gonna say, just me. Just approaching the beastie again. That's all. So,
You see this man. You know as Jonathan Willoughby, and comes up. He kind of whispers something in Krause's ear, and Kraus looks a little perturbed, barks out a few orders, and then he and Barrett leave. And Jonathan comes up to you, Turner, says, Mr. O'Neill, I am truly sorry for the loss of your brother. He was a good friend.
Well, I appreciate the wishes. Just because I've been here a little bit, even though he serves Kraus, is Jonathan a generally good guy from what I'm remembering?
Yeah,
Like,
so the Willoughby family is pretty well known for being just hard workers, but very poor, but highly respected and with good work ethic. And they've just always been closely tied to the Kraus family. So, what is his name? Jonathan, I said? Fuck.
yeah,
Yeah, Jonathan, you've probably known for a long time, and he's just kind of a soft-spoken, easygoing person, but essentially is the Kraus family's like personal attendant, sort of.
gotcha.
He looks
Well,
around a little nervously and puts his back to the Kraus guards around the creature, and he says, "I must speak with you later in private."
aye, we
Says,
can do that, Jonathan. And he's not dead yet, though I appreciate the well wishes. Though I be telling you, you still need to get rid of these Kraus fellers. Not good for health and all that. But, do you have a place in mind, or the seaside suit you?
"No, no, not the seaside.
Hmm.
Meet me at the post office this evening. I'll be around back just after sunset."
All right, Jonathan.
He kind of hurries away.
Do I overhear this? No, I said I was standing back a bit, didn't
I was actually about to ask you, how close are you getting to the creature this day?
I? Are they right up next to it?
Yeah.
Then I am not. I am. I'm
Here.
at the closest 20 to 30 feet away, but I'm not sure about that. Depends on.
Yeah.
You,
Is it laying on the
you've
dock?
asked for you've asked for my alcohol just to redo your dab there.
As we got close, it's like, hand me that bottle, or that flask, please. And you see me dab some on my upper lip, just so that's what I smell.
You see the professor is just actively scouring every inch of the creature. You see Jonathan approach Turner and kind of whisper something to him.
And I know Jonathan, don't I?
Yeah, he would be an avid churchgoer.
All right. But I'm not close enough
The
to say
Willow.
anything, so I'll just observe.
Well, if Jonathan runs off, I guess my next step is to step back to Mr. Ibon there.
He's pulled out his little notepad again and is zealously writing in it, scribbling
Every-
away.
Everything you were hoping to see there, Mr. Ibon?
Oh, and more, Mr. O'Neill. I've never imagined such a thing as this.
Well, like I said, third eyes and all that, but this seems to have more to it.
Oh, in what way?
Just seems more unnatural is all. Now, what do you make of these tentacle-like things here? And I kind of point with my fingers off to the different side of tentacles.
Not like any appendage I've ever seen on any kind of whale. That is to be certain. It is more like an octopus. But these teeth, these incisors, it must have been a ferocious beast, a prey of carnivorous taste indeed.
eye looks halfway between, well, half is maybe the wrong word, but a shark, a squid, and a whale. At least by my reckoning.
And the
But
color of its skin as well is, I would agree with you, unnatural.
yes, I mean,
Are you a
not seeing that.
religious man, Mr. Turner? What did you say?
I, I'm as religious as, well, I keep to the God's word. My mother made me right. But yes, this seems unnatural. I haven't seen nothing in my years of sailing like it, nor fishing. I have a question. You heard any mention in your fancy books about tentacles and red lines coming through them?
He puts his notepad away and kind of steps up close to you and is like staring at you a little, like almost sizing you up, and says,
Like that look is almost like you. You're not the dumb fisherman I expected you to be. Oh,
Mr.
oh,
O'Neill, may I confide something in you?
many people do.
Suddenly, your conversation is interrupted by this yelling, and this young man steps forward bearing a small cross, and he's almost belligerently just screaming about the devil and the end of times, and that Brindlewood Bay is doomed, and the creature in the deep river will bring nothing but sorrow and destruction to the town, and that God's will and God's wrath is upon us, and he's drawing the everyone in the marina is like drawn to him. He climbs up next to the beast on top of the little scaffolding, um, and he's just proclaiming all these essentially, and you all recognize. Well, yeah, you would all recognize this as Lancy Thune,
Someone I will
who
know
is a
well.
very religious and superstitious man. Yeah, you know Lancy very well, Father. And so he's up there, and he just starts causing this huge commotion. The Kraus guards immediately start trying to scramble up and like grab him, and they get him onto the ground and kind of pin him down. And he's just almost out of control, screaming about the wrath of God, essentially.
I'm going to take out a
Causing.
handkerchief and cover my face, my nose, and mouth, and come closer. And I'm looking at Lancy, not this creature.
Um, they've wrestled him. I kind of tell Mr. Iman, 1 second till that. Um,
He
and
follows you.
I kind of hold him on that, and then I'm not gonna purposely start a fight, but it's gonna get pretty close as he rushes in and kind of shoves the guards off. Now, you got him off. Now move, unless you want what you've been given. Kind of spit off to the side.
I'll let you make a roll for this. Oh, there we go. You can use your boxing. I feel like that's really all that would apply. I guess what's your flaw again? That would apply.
Hot-headed.
Yeah, I think we can throw that on there.
Yeah. It's a shame these all aren't active. And then just I'm assuming it's in my human capacity, so I'll roll that as well. So it's 2 dice plus I cannot select my red one, but I shall roll my red one last and see what I get.
Oh, hopefully it's low. I guess it won't matter. Either way, you'll get a 4. Yeah.
Yep.
Okay. um, They kind of all back off. No one really stands up to you, and one of them says, "Get the hell out of here, Loon." And they go back to their posts guarding the creature. Kind of, they have some agitation amongst them, and they shove some other people out of their way who kind of got too close to the creature when they moved off.
And then I'll kind of pick Thune up by the back of his jacket, and I kind of go, "Father, you might want to talk with
Yeah,
one
I've
of
just
your
I've just gotten
lost
close.
flock." And I
So,
kind of shoved him towards him.
Lancy, please come away. This is not the way.
Father,
It is.
don't you see what's happening, though?
I,
The
I
doom of the town is upon us.
I admit things are a little bit strange, but please let us step away from this foul stench to discuss this. Nauseating. Please come up. I will speak with you. Come up here.
I almost hear, "It's a foul stench of the devil."
He's still a little, almost out of control. So I'm gonna have you make a roll as well, Father Bauer. Just you can click other action.
All right.
You can use your occupation for this also because him being so religious and you being the priest has a little more sway.
What do I need to
And
get
your
to succeed?
specialty is scholarship. What'd you say?
What do I need to do to get to succeed?
I think it's like over a 2. Is depend.
It's
3.
it's actually anything succeeds. It just depends on other
Oh.
things that happen. 1 and 2 means you get the base information to push the investigation forward.
Oh, so does it go
Yeah.
by my highest
Or
die?
1, 2, and 3, I think is that.
No, it does go by
Yeah,
your
he
highest die.
takes your
Just-
highest die. Yeah.
I think 5 is like, what was it, everything humanly
Oh.
possible, and 6 is like supernatural.
Exactly.
All right.
So yeah, with the 5, you're able to calm him down so he's not belligerent, and he just seemed almost to be in a state of frenzy and agitation, and he almost snaps out of it as you like pull him away from the creature. He becomes a totally different person, very calm.
That's much
Oddly
better,
so,
Lancy.
almost. He looks almost on the verge of tears now. Says, "Father, my dreams, I can't take it anymore. Ever since this creature came in, God has been showing me our doom. I can see it all. I see them coming."
Please
The devil is here.
tell me of your dreams. Although there's a little bit of hesitation in my voice because I think I've seen some strange things in my dreams.
And unless Mr. Ibon has taken an inherent interest and followed the good father, I feel like we let them separate to calm him down.
You look around and you notice that Professor Ibon is actually gone. Can't spot him anywhere in the crowd of the marina.
Oh, I thought he was at my side. I can't see any sign of where he went.
He was for a moment. He followed you over to the brawl, and then next thing you know, he's just suddenly disappeared.
I know the marina pretty well. Would he have been? I mean, I know the marina pretty well, and looking around at the likely exits and how far he could have gotten. Do I see anything?
Nope.
Well, I will ask one of the guards I just kind of roughhoused slightly. I'll be like, "You see that fella taking notes where he went?"
Gives you kind of a dirty look and shrugs his shoulders, says, "I ain't no man's keeper, Turner. Keep moving."
Kind of spit generally, and then, jeez. I guess I'll try to find information in the market while the father calms down our new friend.
Okay. Let's do Father Bauer really quick. So uh, Lancey begins to describe to you the exact dream that you had, in almost exquisite and perfectly matching detail.
I will lose
And
my
then
composure a little bit.
I was wondering, I might even have you actually make an insight roll from
Yeah.
that. And then he perfectly recites the words you heard.
Lancy, this cannot
And
be.
he
I had the
says,
exact same dream. How is this possible? And here am I. I am the one that was meant to have the answers. I have strayed.
"Oh, Father, this must be a sign. God is speaking with us. He's trying to show us the way. We must save the town. We must save everything. Everything is in danger right now. Don't you feel it?"
I do. I do.
And he like kind of gets in really close and like takes your hands in his. He says, "We must kill Jeremiah Hawthorne. He is the devil incarnate. This is his doing."
Now, Lancy, that murder, that is strictly forbidden by the church, and is not the answer.
He just completely breaks down in tears almost at this point. He says, "Father, I don't know what else to do. It's the only path I can find that must be walked in order to save our
The,
families, our town."
but murder, I mean, these things are unnatural that are happening, and is not caused by a natural. A person would be a natural happening. These are unnatural. The murder of another human wouldn't be the solution. I must pray for guidance. Will you pray with me, Lancy?
Immediately, like his hand moves to the cross around his neck, and he starts praying.
And I will do the same. I will lead it, actually. It's my rosary, though I'm not going to role play it because I don't think I could, but. And I am like one step away from being fully insane.
Yeah, your insight went up. Dang.
I am praying very intently. That's the only thing I could think of to do, or at least what a priest would do.
Yeah. And you're pretty close to standing. It's almost like you bought into his delusion as you were trying to calm him down.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Though
Let's
I don't
see.
feel like it's a delusion because I saw it.
True.
Did we go speak to Hawthorne? I can't remember.
You have not
No.
yet.
But I mean, he was just the financer of it. He wasn't on the trip. That's why Turner never took great interest in it as of yet. But I guess Turner's still searching the market for the man that was with them and then just up and disappeared for no reason.
Yeah. Go ahead and give us an investigation roll.
Who?
Um, Turner. He's kind of searching
Would it
the
roughly be
marina.
within my occupation as this is the marina and I know it well?
Um,
Sailing and selling my fish and stuff. And
yeah, I'll give it to you.
okay.
I think you'll get what, 2 dice?
Yeah.
And 3.
3.
Let me see. are quickly moving around the marina, kind of looking in places you couldn't just openly see. You move up by the deep river, which is almost completely dismantled at this point, and you kind of get up to a high point, looking around, and you find his top hat. You like see it on the ground, being kicked around.
I kind of pick it up and go to that general area, I guess, because I'm not in that area, and look around for him.
A woman's voice starts yelling out over the crowd near you and getting closer to you, yelling your name, Turner, Turner, Turner. You turn around and you see Georgina, the local bakery owner, who also was your brother's girlfriend.
Hey.
And she's in tears. She has tears streaming down her face, yelling your name. She hugs you and says, Turner, I saw Jeff. I saw Jeff last night. I
Georgina's
called
gonna
after him and he ran away from me. They said he was lost, but I know it was him.
Yes, yes, I know what they say, and I don't quite believe them. Where did you see him? I'll pick up the top hat.
I was down over to see Mr. Watley and wish him a happy new year. And then I saw Turner, or excuse me, I saw Jeff, and well, I'm sure it was him. I'm fairly certain it was him. Anyways, I swear it was his jacket. I recognize it anywhere, but he was in the shadows and he ran off. As I approached the house, I do you think it could have been him? Am I just seeing things? Things I wish to be?
Well, I thought I saw someone else too. Matthew, so well, I can't write it out completely, plus they're not telling the truth, the crew. But, Georgina, you know what I've been saying about going to see that fella.
Well, I
Needs to
thought
go
he
to the
might be
church.
able to tell me what had happened out there.
Men can tell you what happened out there, not whatever he's spouting. He's more likely to take your well-earned coin and run with it than to tell you something of that matter. Give you hopes where there aren't any and false truths where there are none.
I know you are a skeptic, Turner, but Jeff and I believe in the cards. Mr. Watley has had great insight. He's the one who brought us together, after all.
Mm-hmm. Oh. Well, it was a small town. I think that's what brought you together, Georgina. But anyway, he just been straying if I seeing him instead of the church. But Ma never approved of that. But anyway, but yes. So you saw him on the way. You said
He was behind the Watley house as I approached, and he ran off into the alley. It was late and it was dark. I feared to follow. I don't know what stopped me.
it's probably
But the
smart you
smell, there was
stopped.
the terrible smell as this, like here in the marina.
Like that beastie. Yes, yes. Probably better you didn't. I got this when I saw Matthew, and I kind of show my neck a little bit. Probably still half bandaged or not, maybe. I don't know.
She like goes in to look at it and kind of strokes your skin just a little. She's like, "Oh my gosh, are you okay? What did this to you? Did Betty bite
Matthew.
you?
Yes, a little half crazed it seems, but
What?
by the way, you seems a little off, but do you see this fellow around here wearing this top hat a second ago? And kind of looking around for the guy still.
She looks really confused and is like, no, I don't recognize it.
Oh. Ah, jeez. Okay. Well, and I'm sure the father and I are far enough apart, but he can find me. Take me to this place, Georgine.
Father, while you kind of finish your little prayer session with Lancy, and you hear the drum beating in your ears, and suddenly the amulet in your pocket feels heavy.
I start to get a little bit sweaty and nervous, and Lancy, I advise you to go to the church and submit yourself to God in prayer. Let us speak again
I shall,
later
Father.
about this. I need to
I
go.
shall wait for you there, Father.
Okay. Don't do anything rash. Murdering somebody is not the answer. It won't fix our problem.
He kind of submissively like nods his head and heads off in the direction of the parish.
And I quickly follow after Turner, although in my heart I feel a sense of dread that I feel like I should be going to the church as well, but against my best judgment, I am following Turner.
I would think the timing also would even line up that you walk up kind of near the middle or end of his conversation. Oh. You might hear her say something about the Watley house kind of as you approach, and then
Yeah, so I look a little bit disheveled and not my usual. Well, I'm always timid and kind of on the edge to some extent, but I don't quite have the peace of a man of the cloth anymore right now. A little bit edgy, but the Watley house, is that where you're headed?
Aye, Father. She says she might have seen Jeff.
No, no way. But then again,
But
that makes
it
sense.
seems,
Go ahead, sorry.
at least by the nose, smells like Matthew did when we encountered him, so I kind
no.
of lied. I don't know, but I'm needing to find out either way. Plus, Father, maybe you can speak some sense into Georgina about seeing this soothsayer, so to speak. Cards and kind of mumbles as they.
What have you been wanting to go, or you have been going to consult with him? Georgina?
She kind of looks down, almost ashamed, says, I'm sorry, Father. I do find his views quite fascinating. As did Jeff, which is why I thought maybe he would have some insight as to what happened.
Many people of that sort say just the thing to make you believe them. It's a way to make money. It's take advantage of good folk. They tell you what you want to hear. You know, the church is very clear about seeking forms of divination and some such. It's nothing good will come of it. But your thoughts that maybe Jeff, maybe mentioned something to him, so it's not without good reason you would go to speak to him, I suppose, on that front, but I would not put any trust to any sort of claims of knowing anything.
Turner kind of rubs his beard like he hadn't thought of this before. Yeah, yeah. Well, there's one thing I can trust, and that's he'll tell me what he knows one way or the other, I suppose. And Turner kind of starts avidly in that direction, which I'm sure both
With
the father and Georgina
a
are thrilled
clenched
about.
fist. Oh dear. This will be... Keeping this man from violence. I mutter this under my breath, but she may or may not hear it. It's become a
as he,
full-time job. And I
he
hurry
starts
after.
storming off.
Yeah, I hurry after.
She says to you right before you leave, she says, "Father, I must return to the bakery, but please watch after him." And kind of looks worriedly after Turner as he storms away.
Yes, staying focused on your work is a good way to remain calm about things. I must see to Mr. Turner here. Good day to you. And I hurry off, wiping my brow with my handkerchief.
Feel free to come to the church. I feel like there's going to be a bash at the church at the end of this.
Yeah, everyone's going to be there. An impromptu sort of sermon told by a priest who's very disheveled and halfway or more than halfway insane.
And as a reminder, it is Saturday afternoon at this point.
I've got mass to deliver tomorrow. Oh no.
Mm-hmm.
How do you get rid
That's
of...
what we're gonna open next session with. Write us up.
Write us up a sermon. Like, abandon the Bible. Run for your lives.
It's like Denethor at the end. Looking in the lure.
Yes, there's a new god in town. We shall all burn. Lock the doors. The anointing oil shall cover us, and we shall set ourselves alight.
Really for your lives. Then Turner's gonna be the one to punch you. Prepare for battle.
Yes. How do you get rid of insight? I forget the procedure.
Yeah. It reads as such. Suppress mythos knowledge, burn books, stop rituals, destroy yourself, or impede the investigation.
Destroy yourself.
Yeah.
None of those options are even possible because I'm so intrigued and I'm so tunnel visioned with this that stopping the investigation is out of the question. Destroying myself is out of the question. There's no books to destroy.
Well, there's one thing you can unfortunately destroy.
The amulet.
Do I have it still? Oh, yes.
The thing in your pocket. I mean, if you wanted to, but...
So as you rush up after Turner, you reach into your pocket, you still hear this drum beating. You can tell, because it's the second time it's happened to you, that it's just in your head. You know no one else can hear it. And your hand unconsciously reaches into your pocket and you feel the wet, slimy amulet that you found in the mayor's office. And it almost feels as if it's pulsing with life.
I know he's the one feeling it, but is it warm to the touch like the rock, or is it a different touch feeling?
No, it wouldn't be the same. It feels almost cold and slimy, yeah. Like it's been sitting on the bottom of the ocean.
As a player, although I can see it on my character sheet, but I kind of had forgotten some of the details about it until you just mentioned it. But I think I want that to be as the character as well. He absentmindedly put it in his pocket thinking it was of value, and then forgot about it until he started hearing the drums, and then even then only slightly, and as we're getting closer, oh dear. And then I go to hold on to it. Yeah, I don't think that I would think to be rid of it would, right at this point. I think I'm too wrapped up in this.
I agree. Not in the same way that you got rid of the stone, because that directly triggered you going to 5, and you had this. You're just uncontrollably threw it in the river. Yeah.
I would say at this point you might be willing to get rid of your nose.
Plug it up. Just walk around with my handkerchief just stuffed up my each nostril, just hanging down like this weird sort of veil over my
I was just
mouth.
I was just taking the destroy yourself
Oh yeah.
idea to dream. Let's just cut off my nose, you know.
Oh yes, of course.
Well, that was my other thing. I was thinking like you have no way of like just getting rid of the dream. That's part of your memory.
Yeah.
It's like yeah, it's you're gonna have to be really careful. You can hit 6 any moment.
Oh dear.
Find a way to bring that down.
Well,
Uh,
So you approach the Watley house, and the storm is just getting darker and heavier. The thunder is booming. The lightning is more constant. The sea is turbulent. It may appear as if Watley's prediction of a hurricane is coming true. The
I can't
Watley
help
house
it.
has a. Oh, go ahead.
I was just gonna say I can't help but notice it's right on the water. Is this house looking okay?
It's very run down and not very well taken care of. Watley is very poor, but there are enough people who follow his kind of occultism that pay for his services that he is able to do that exclusively and throws himself wholeheartedly into his spirituality. You would both know. I don't know if either of you would have ever been here. It's possible. It's up to you.
probably
Um,
wouldn't have visited it. But
No,
I mean, even to try to convert him, I don't think I would have made the effort.
Turner
yeah.
Turner would have been by here, but as you can tell from this conversation, probably not would have gone in here. Nope.
As you approach,
Might have in fact had to
you
pull Trent away from me.
you find kind of a distinct lack of people anywhere nearby. And it almost seems as if it seems darker than it should be for only being in the afternoon. And you hear the whole time as you approach the house, you keep, Father Bauer, you feel that you keep hearing footsteps behind you, but every time you look, nobody's around at all. And as you approach the door of the house, you hear voices from inside. You both recognize Watley's voice, and then Turner in particular, you hear the voice of Weston Hapsbury, who was the second mate on the Deep Reaver. But you can't quite tell what they're saying inside. You just hear them speaking.
There's windows, but I would like to listen in before barging in a little bit. So I'd either like to enter quietly and kind of listen nearby, or listen at a window, whichever is more appropriate to where they're
You can
at.
tell they're pretty close. They're kind of right, not right by the door, but close enough that if you open that door, they'll see you. But you could definitely kind of stand closer to the window and move up a bit to try and listen. We'll have you do an
Alright.
investigation roll. Father, are you doing the same thing? What are you gonna do?
Yeah, I've kind of lost all sense of. I'm following curiosity right now. I'm not from a position of strength right now.
Not
But
to
I'm
mention you
trying
think
to
you're
keep
being
Turner from harming people. I still have that sort of.
Totally.
So I'll be there with him.
So both of you make an investigation roll. I don't think either of your flaws apply.
How about my specialty? Scholar. No, because that wouldn't matter.
No, yeah, it's not really a scholarly
And,
investigation.
and
And
unless we're adding hearing to sailing because, you know, I can listen through a storm.
so I can only have the task is within human capabilities because it's not really related to my occupation. So,
Yeah.
aha! Look at
Whoa,
that.
you are so good at that. You hit 6 on all.
You're hearing all the things. Meanwhile, Turner's like, this door. Yeah, for Turner, this is a really solid door.
Silence.
Oh, okay, I was gonna say, I was like, am I the only one that heard just dead silence all of a sudden?
Power just totally flashed.
Oh.
But that's better than going out completely, I guess. Oh, damn, I can boot it up really fast too. Okay. That took me by surprise. Andy, I heard like a thunder blast from the sound of the game, and then my power went out.
Wow. The coincidence.
Okay,
The
your poor
story is
computer.
becoming real. You're in it.
Does that mean
Not
you
found.
reboot? Does that mean you need to
It's
reboot the what do you call it,
Foundry.
the stream? Yeah, the stream or whatever, or the recording. That's the word. Recording.
Recording's
no,
fine.
Andy's doing the recording.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
I'm just having reconnection issues with the internet now. 1 second. Got your new tabs, I think.
Cthulhu is coming from the game to us. At least to
Oh,
you.
you know what's happening right now is
Your mind is
my
being sucked
router
up.
is rebooting. No wonder. Okay. We can continue though. So you both move in and listening at the window, and you hear Watley, or not Watley, Hapsberry saying to Watley, there were so many of them. They were everywhere. The tentacles, you couldn't see anything but their clawed hands, their webbed feet. And he's kind of going on in this manner, but is still somewhat vague. You're not really able to understand what he's describing. And he then starts speaking about and how he had no choice. And he starts kind of saying a lot of the same things that Kip was saying to you in his confession. And then they begin chanting together, Aye, Aye, Cthulhu, Fatagan. I might be able to get back in the forge here.
You said hit. Is he saying that's what the thing said when they climbed aboard, or is she saying, are the two of them chanting now?
He was saying that he was hearing that chanting.
Oh, okay.
But like Watley like almost repeats it to him. And they chant a little bit together. And it sounds very determined and definitive. And then you can tell that, oh, Um, One sec. Internet just came back up. Let's see. Here we go. Okay. Reopen all my Google Docs. Father, you see just kind of out of your reach up on the wall is this massive white moth with black dots. And the black dots are like almost appear to be moving ever so slightly,
Oh my
bending
God.
and twisting.
I sense an insight roll coming on really soon.
And then you see just beyond it, floating in the sky, this break in time and space. It's almost this geometrical line floating and glowing in a deep red color. And you see a shadow slowly emerging from the break in space. Turner does not see this.
I'm
He's
seeing
like
this through the
intently
window.
listening and trying to peek in. No, this is like in the street near you, just past the moth. And Turner is like looking in the window, trying to listen intently. What's going on in
I
there?
nudged Turner on the shoulder and in a shaky voice, turn around. Look at that.
Turner turns up and goes, looks at it. By the way, are you just pointing out the line or anything else that you saw?
All of it.
Okay. Turner looks up, goes a little wide-eyed. That's what I saw outside the doctor's office. We need to get going. And then I kind of I'm gonna quickly try to. This is gonna be kind of hard. Is the moth within grab and reach?
It's not. It's like definitely out of your reach. But it's sitting there and its wings are just like slowly pulsating. And it almost looks as if all the black dots on it are like slowly shifting. And it's twice the size of your hand. It's this massive moth. You've never seen anything so large of that type.
I would like to imagine I carry a knife on me. Can I try to throw it in bed, or at least knock it off or something?
Yeah, you can do that.
Oh,
I would actually say you're just able to do that.
yeah.
And you run. So the thing, you throw your knife at it, it knocks it, and your
Grab it
knife
up.
and the moth like fall. The moth starts to fall. The knife clatters to the ground, and as you run over to it, it's gone. But there's this shriveled, dried up kind of piece of skin laying next to your knife.
I kind of pick it up with my knife and put it next to the vial of Matthew, and then I kind of quickly grab the father and shove him indoors as we barge in now at this point, because I'm assuming, unless something has changed, is the thing still coming out of the sky?
It is still there. Yeah, and you see now that there's a tentacle kind of emerging out of it.
So then I'm gonna take the father, shove him inside the door, close the door behind me, and then now do we see the scene before I make a decision upon whether to punch someone in sight?
Yeah, well, first I'm going to have you both roll insight
Oh no.
Oh,
for seeing this.
oh, turn it, hold up.
That's
Oh,
it. I'm
Oh
gone.
my god.
I'm dead.
Oh my god. You go incurably insane. This is a special moment. Oh my god.
It didn't even last 2 sessions.
Andy, you rolled too good.
Well, I guess the father determine how he wants to go out. I was gonna show him through the door, but that might not be the case anymore.
Oh no.
I pull out my rosary and I go right up to this tentacle. You go back to the hells where you come from, in the name of the Lord. I'm holding my rosary out as I go up to it. The power of Christ
Turner,
compels you.
You see this massive black tentacle come out, and it just like slowly wraps around the father's body as he's doing this and completely envelops him. And then he becomes just muffled, his words barely perceptible as it completely wraps around him and pulls him into the break in space, which promptly closes.
Would I have been able to? Well, because I was gonna grab him and throw him in, so would I have had a hand on him at all?
No, I think he would have like broken away from you in his insanity and like run up to the thing, and you're probably just frozen watching him.
I only say this as a hope that maybe I was able to wrestle some object, that was in his pocket, out of his grasp.
As he is pulled in and the red glowing line disappears, you run up to where you last saw him, and you hear a drum beat in your head and your ears, and you look down, and there's this sea green, slimy looking amulet on the ground where he was taken.
Turner kind of shakes his head, picks that thing up, carefully wraps it or whatever he must do, put it with the other 3 things of evidence he has in his coat, and then he kind of does the cross and kind of mutters a prayer for the father. And then kind of, I guess, we'll go back to the house.
Oh my god, Andy. You never roll good.
I know.
You only roll good when it literally kills your own character.
I feel so bad because Turner's been the brash one. I was expecting him to go first.
I did
God,
too.
I really loved that character too. I fucking loved your character so much. I cannot believe you just rolled 2 6s.
Yeah,
Well, that's Cthulhu Dark, I guess.
I guess it is. Yeah, I really like that character too. I'll probably use him, the personality, in something again as some other thing, but somewhere.
Oh my gosh. Oh
Well,
my gosh.
now
All
Turner's pissed. So Turner's gonna barge in.
Well,
No cares.
so before that even happens, like, you pick up the amulet, and then you hear, the door slam open from the Watley house, and you hear Hapsbury yelling out, "O'Neill, what the hell are you doing here? What's going on out here? Who's shouting?"
Turner kind of walks up, grabs Hapsbury, who he looks like an old man, so I'm assuming I can kind of roughhouse him a little bit.
Oh yeah, I'll show him. You going? You're good. Were you like saying anything to him, or?
Well, I kind of grab him and move him against the wall. You telling me you're saying this phrase over and over again, and now the good father's gone? Not the first time I've heard it in the last day and a half. So you need to be telling me what's going on now.
What are you talking about? Get off of me! And he tries to like break free of you. Watley is kind of walking around,
And I'll say,
looking at the sky.
And I kind of put my hand into the wall, not hard enough to break, but I go, now is not the time for pulling me around. I know Matthew's here. I know Jeff's here, apparently. The father's taken by some tentacle, like your beastie. Today's not the day for games, Hapsbury. Tell me now what happened and what's going on. And at first, you're not the only one to be saying this. Kip said to the father before he went. There's already 2, I think 2. two dead people by my count now. Tell me what's going on.
He gets pretty serious and calms down a little and says, I'm not telling you nothing until you let go of me, O'Neill.
As long as you don't off yourself like the captain, obliged. And I kind of let go of him, and hopefully that information sinks in.
The hell are you talking about?
Old Bigham decided to take a jump off the cliff.
His jaw drops a little, his eyes go wide. The hell are you talking about? When did this happen? I haven't heard anything about this.
Last night, over on Bonfire Cliff. Whatever you guys saw on that trip tipped him over the edge. So congrats, you have a new captain. Unfortunately, it'd be the first mate.
Wally says, come inside, quickly. And he kind of ushers both of you into the house. Oh my god, Andy, do you have a character concept?
Yeah, give me a character sheet.
Yeah, give me 1 sec.
I've played the religious doctor. Let me be the unreligious other side. Complete 1/8.
Okay, Andy 2 is available for you.
All right, I'll populate it. You finish off the scene.
Okay. You go inside, and there's a deck of very colorful and artful cards being laid out on the table in sort of a pattern. Turner, you would probably have no real idea what these cards are.
No. Out of an off chance, though, are they in a pattern I recognize?
Not really. It just looks like lines and circles.
Okay. Doesn't look like a card game. I figure I know card games.
No. Yeah, it just looks like, tarot.
Okay.
The way it's kind of laid out in shapes of some kind. You might think it's some kind of card game just at a glance, if you Wally kind of indicates for both of you to sit down and takes his seat on the other side of the cards. And he says, Mr. O'Neill, Mr. Hapsbury has told me quite a story. One, that he was sworn to secrecy, in which I have agreed to keep this secrecy, though I fear, after what you have just told us, may not be a secret for very long. And then he says, what just happened outside? What happened outside just now? You must tell us every detail. And then we will exchange everything we know.
You swear on that?
Hapsbury says, my life as a sailor, Neil, I'll bring you into the loop.
And I kinda, not that it means much for some people here, but swear on your God.
He kind of looks almost concerned and angry, and he says, O'Neill, after what I've been through on the Deep River, I'm not so sure there is a God anymore. That's why I came to Watley and not to the Father. Now, what is it you were saying about the Father?
Turner says, well, God rest his soul, he was taken from outside by a tentacle. Not the first one I've seen either, and not just on the dead beastie you brought in. Nor it's the first red line break I've seen in the sky or behind a shop.
Hapsbury. Go ahead, you finish.
Not to mention me coming here looking for Jeff in the same way I found hoping to not find him in the same way I found Matthew. And I repeat kind of word for word what Habsburg said, and I go, with clawed fingers and webbed feet. And I kind of let my neck be shown a little bit. And let's add sharp teeth to the mix.
Hapsbury almost unconsciously like makes the sign of the cross as you're saying these things and says, "You've seen the break. You've seen the line. It's followed us. It followed us back from sea. Damn it. Damn it all."
Followed or being drawn forth, because we heard chanting in the quarry. We found a stone. Figures ran away before we could get close. About, kind of forget, but there was about 4 or 5 of them. Happen to know anything about that?
I don't fully understand what's going on myself, Turner. I know that Prescott and Kraus, well, they've got something going on. There's something going on in the town that they're a part of. Now we're all a part of it.
I'd say.
Out there. Go. You want to respond?
I'd say. You have,
Oh.
yeah, and I was gonna say. Not to mention them disassembling a boat for no reason.
Well, that was part of the deal, apparently. I don't quite remember it. It's like there's a black fog on my mind. I remember the storm. I remember the yelling. And then there were those things. They were everywhere. These reptilian people. They were all over the ship. And then Matthew and your brother, well, they made their choice. They leaped into the sea. They offered themselves to the thing in the clouds. I can't picture it. I can't remember what it looks like. And Watley kind of goes to calm him down. You know, Weston, it's okay. Don't strain yourself. The answers will come. This is why you came to me. We can find them. We'll get the images back. We'll find your memories.
You're not the only one with with gaps, Hapsbury. Langmore has the same gaps. Except he was kind of saying the opposite. Me brother took him on board. Took the beastie on board. Matthew he didn't have sight of. And he said you all gave yourself to made your choice on that boat. Except kind of the opposite.
Kind of shakes his head side to side, looks downtrodden. Says, I feel the guilt of what we've done, but I don't know how to stop it or take it back. A deal was made. We've brought the creature onto shore. There's no turning back now.
Yes. You bringing these moths back too?
Pip had the moth. It chose him.
Well, I haven't seen Kip since the church a day and a half ago. Or a day. But,
Yeah.
not to mention his house full of unspeakable things, weapons, cocoons. Not to mention one of them floating outside the door right now. and it coming out like this once I killed it, and I kind of take it out and stab it to the table.
Watley like gets up and leans in close to it and like touches it and kind of smells it, takes your knife out, picks it up and looks at it. I've never seen anything quite like this. You say you just found this outside of my house?
Yes, was a moth before I got it, and it landed on the ground like that. White moth, black moving dots.
Hapsbury kind of shakes his head. Yes, that's exactly what it looked like.
That's a big one. A lot of the ones in Kip's house that flew out were small ones. I think they're more than one.
What does it mean, Watley? And he just kind of shrugs his shoulders. This is not like anything I've ever encountered. We must have a seance. I need to focus.
Yeah, almost quick. Turner takes the knife, and then also like spins it towards Watley. Before we get into a seance and all this devilish nonsense, how about you tell me whether you've seen me brother or not? Because I was told he was behind your shop, not last night.
Mr. O'Neill, I give you my word that I would tell you everything I know, and I have not seen your brother. If he was
Well,
here, I was unaware of it.
Well, I'd be seeing Matthew, and I kind of take the vial out and place it next to the thing.
He looks at that, kind of picks it up, going over it. What is this?
It's what remains of Matthew, and I kind of look at Hapsbury as I say it. After I restrained him and brought him to the dock. And I say dock as in doctor. Brought him to the dock. One of those tentacle beasties came out of this red line, and after I looked back after we barricaded it through, all that was left was the puddle. No Matthew. He was tied up good. My knots are good. Habsburg can at least vouch to that. We wouldn't have gotten out of them that way.
Kind of, he opens the vial and just like lets a little bit onto his finger, closes it and hands it back to you, and then he smells it and then he eats it.
Oh, jeez. Turner goes,
Kind of tastes it a little, moving it
How-
around in his mouth and then swallows.
Turner goes, and how is that going to help?
As a skeptic, Mr. Turner, you would never accept or understand any explanation for what I do. You must just have faith in me. I can barely explain the gifts that I have been born with.
Gifts, right. Well, your gifts telling you that you're eating or drinking a dead man when you do that?
I believe Mr. O'Neill is very much alive,
Or,
just not as we remember him.
oh, Matthew Walsh.
Oh, yeah, excuse me.
You think he's still alive?
Mr. Walsh.
Is there
Yes.
any way of bringing him, and if my brother's in such a state, them back? And not in the raising them from the dead, so to speak.
I fear I do not know. But I may know a way of summoning them.
And how would that be?
We'll kind of fade there as he says that. And then give me 1 second. I'm gonna get Andy's token in. What was it? Constable?
Yeah, Huxley.
No, I don't see it.
What? Put it there.
Where did you upload it into?
The Brindle Bay world. I don't see it there either. I put it there.
Oh, I see Huxley token.
Oh, that's it. Sorry.
Okay,
I forgot I named
cool.
it that.
Perfect.
Hey, there I am.
Nice. uh, there's a bang on the door, suddenly, like a knocking. Right after he talks about going away to maybe summon them. And he goes to open the door, and standing there is Constable William Huxley. Oh, I have no way of showing the show art doesn't work for characters.
If you do, hold on. I don't know if I have the ability to. If you right click on the token.
There we go. Yep. That one worked. William Huxley. Constable, you had a report from the bakery owner, Miss Georgina Blair, that one of the missing persons, Jeff... Oh, what was his last name? Dearborn? Jeff Miller was seen near the Watley house, and you've come to investigate.
Was I hearing an argument or anything when it come up?
Probably not. They've been pretty calm, talking for a bit.
All right. Now see here, I got a report of a missing person actually showing up here. Oh, clearing his throat.
Oh, Constable. Hello, yes. I'm afraid I have not seen anyone. No one but my usuals have been coming to visit me.
Hey, Jeff. I forget the surname. You just said it. I forget now.
Miller.
Jeff Miller. Jeff Miller.
Just because he's usually brash and impatient, Turner gets up out of his. He would have kind of followed him to the door, also not trusting that Tentacle wasn't behind there by chance. And he kind of goes, "Well, if it ain't the law late again. Don't worry, I've got it in hand, Constable. Already here ahead of, well, the people that are supposed to be doing their jobs."
Yeah, well, I have to wait on the instructions from Ed Blatz, and he is by, well, no better sense of the word, a bit of a fool. And so, once I heard, I'm on the case.
Or you could just take your own gumption and show up without his orders. And, they'll come, just late. Okay.
Yes, well, I'm here now, so what's all this nonsense going on?
Mr. Huxley, I feel that this has all been blown out of proportion. Just, with the creature being brought back and tensions high, fanciful ideas are spreading. It is terribly sad that the two men lost at sea, but I do not believe Jeff Miller has been here. This is Turner O'Neill, Mr. Miller's brother, actually.
Mr. O'Neill?
Constable?
Would you like to
Don't
explain to
worry.
me what you think is going on here?
I've been finding it out piece by piece, Constable. Doing my own investigation, so to speak, since I've been lacking answers.
Well, if you share with me what you know, I'll be able to help you.
Will you now? Let me ask, is the search party up and running yet?
I have come here on the initial investigation, and I will carry it out as needed. I have been left in the dark on this, and suddenly the town's going crazy.
Yeah, I'm surprised they didn't have you up at the mayor's office.
Me too.
Although I guess now it's back. Although I guess now maybe it's moved to the morgue.
What has?
What has? Or who has? If you haven't been informed, maybe you shouldn't know. Or perhaps we should just have a new mayoral election. How about that?
I'm sure that will happen in due time, but those things don't happen overnight, now do they?
No. But usually you're not needing one unless something's happened to the mayor now, do you?
Well, of course.
What-
What is all this
Hapsbury.
about? You're speaking in
Hapsbury.
circles. Hmm?
Hmm?
Sorry, Unicorn, I didn't hear you.
Yeah, we're sorry. We kind of talked over each other. Didn't mean to.
No, it's all right. I'd love to boost this server so that didn't happen so much.
I heard something about Hapsbury, I think.
Yeah, that's all I heard.
I'll just say real quick. Hapsbury pipes in and says, like, "What do you mean? What's happened to the mayor?"
Oh, I've spoken out of turn.
Have I? So so I look at the what does Turner know of the constable? I know he's been created in the last 5 minutes, but I'm saying in terms.
Um, he's, uh, um, he's, so there's the sheriff. I just used the word constable. I don't know if it's the right term,
Mhm.
I think it's perfect.
but I'm seeing this. The sheriff. He's a younger man, but he's the one in charge, and I've transferred in, and I've had experience as a detective in a bigger city, but I'm having to work under a fool. Very stern and very much follow the law and doesn't tolerate stuff.
What do you think? Is he's had run-ins with Turner?
I wouldn't have thought so. Not negative ones
No,
necessarily.
no broken up brawls.
No. But I would think also he's probably not been in town for too many years. Actually, probably even less than a year. It's just getting to know people and to realize that the sheriff is a fool. Lazy fool.
Would Turner know that he actually is kind of a man of his word and does his job, or is that
I
something
would've-
that?
Maybe vaguely, I suppose, because I don't. Depends on how much interaction we might have had. You would have
Well,
seen
This, how often does he go to the seaside?
Yeah,
right
that's what I'm
after
saying.
work?
Like,
Well, any sort of drunken disorderly is probably quite common down there. He would have been down there.
And in his off time?
Not in his off time. No, he would go to a more gentleman's establishment. Not posh, not just respectable.
would he have gone to church?
Oh yeah, definitely a churchgoer. Because that's just the proper thing to do.
I would also say there really isn't another place that people go to drink. There's one pub, and it's the seaside.
Oh
There
really?
are also there are small parties held up. God, why can I never remember
By the aristocrats over on the.
exactly? They call it high society, and it's like the rich people of the town kind of mingle within themselves at their own mansions.
No, he wouldn't go to that.
It's unlikely you would have ever been invited to one
No,
of those. Yeah.
definitely not.
So he might either begrudgingly go to the seaside
Just
and just
nowhere
kind of
else.
keep
Yes.
his distance.
Yeah, he would have then.
Or
Just
he
quietly
wouldn't at
on the
all.
side, he would just have a.
It sounds like he's not very integrated into the town. Like, not a lot of people probably know him very well in general.
No.
Yeah. Okay, cool.
Come on. I'm just trying to determine if Turner would trust him or not. Right off
Well,
the
the
bat.
other awkwardness here is so Watley and Hapsbury are being a little almost standoffish and trying to get rid of him and not tell him anything because, like, they just told you that it's all, like, sworn to secrecy.
Yeah.
Hapsbury would
Well-
even be like, gentlemen, this has been a pleasure, but I have some things I need to tend to. Excuse me. Almost as soon as you talk about the mayor dying, well, would you, I guess I'll give it another moment because that was kind of how he's asked, like, what happened to the mayor was his
Yeah.
last question.
And I'll go, well, Constable, we'll be able to give you our statements right after this, I'm sure. But we need to finish our dear conversation, and then we'll chat. And then, quite rudely, but quite Turner-like, shut the door before he can answer.
Constable, do you accept that, or do you bang on the door again?
I bang on the door again. I say,
I guess
open
it's
up.
up
This
to
is the law you are speaking to.
I guess it's up to Watley whether to answer or not, but I'll turn my attention to Hafser, who's already trying to run away. And I'll kind of move him back to sitting down, and I'll go, I'll tell you what happened to the mayor. They found him dead in a tub. Well, not in a they found him dead in the bathroom with no water, or with water, but dry as a bone.
He just gets wide-eyed, kind of stammers a little bit, like, this can't be. And then
Anything like that on your little voyage?
no, but, well, he gets a
Here's
little
the
nervous, looks around, and is like, I think Wilbur might have had something to do with this. Watley opens the door back up again as soon as you start really banging on it. I apologize, Constable. Mr. O'Neill
There's no way to treat
is a little...
a member of the
rough
law
around the edges.
enforcement profession. I am here on official business. Have you seen Jeff Miller? I got their name right, didn't I?
Yes.
Yeah.
And Turner's gonna kind of hush and say in a low voice, "What do you mean Wilbur has something to do with it? He was there when we investigated the body."
Watley is like kind of trying to be a diversion to the constable, and he tells you, like, as far as I know, Officer Jeff Miller was lost at sea while on the Deep Reavers excursion.
Yeah, I
He has
admit
not
it's a little
been
bit
here.
strange. I'm following up a report. I have a very distressed young woman. Anyone resembling him are in this area.
You mean like his half brother?
No, sir. I have no one has come to see me who would resemble that of Jeff Miller. I don't know what else to tell you. I am sorry.
Okay, I'm going to well, I'm sorry to disturb you, and I'm going to step out, and then I'm going to investigate around the perimeter of the house. Just anything out of order.
Yep. Um, Hapsbury says to you, Turner, he says, well, Wilbur's always talking about wanting to have more power and dreamed of being the mayor. I think he also is part of, well, he's part of whatever Prescott is doing. I don't know. I really don't know. I've got to go. And he, like,
No,
rushes.
I will hold him down if I can, and I will go. We're not done here.
Now the constable's sniffing around. We can't be talking about this out in the open, Turner.
We're indoors right now. The moment you run out, I can't guarantee your safety. Everyone I've talked to keeps disappearing in the damn town.
I'm
Now,
safe enough.
well, not if these golden mask fellows have anything to say about it. The ones that were waiting outside the mayor's office?
What are you talking about, Turner? Now you're just seeing things.
Am I? Just like I'm finding objects all over the place, and I kind of take out the weird looking thing and I think it's an ankh, and place it on the table.
Yeah. Constable, let's have you make your investigation roll here. What's your specialty and
Detective.
your personality?
Specialty is detective. Personality is stern.
Okay, so you'll get a human dice, you'll get an occupation dice. You can use an insight dice if you want. Have you thought of a flaw?
Yeah, I believe everything will be okay if everyone just follows the law.
So
Is that-
rigidity.
Yeah. So I get
Okay, cool.
human and occupational, and then I have to roll a separate die for the specialty. Is that correct? Is that how we do
I
it?
think so.
I only have a tick
Yeah.
box for occupation and human capability.
Right, yeah, so you can just roll one extra. You could probably click the insight one too. I feel like it's... Oh, I didn't mean to do that.
Well, as long as you don't go crazy.
Yeah, I'm almost scared to. Hold on.
Well, you're not going to... You don't necessarily have to use insight, but I feel like adding it on would be kind of the same. Hey, you still got a 6. God, Andy, you and your 6s.
I know it. It's 3 6s in
Okay,
a
you
row.
move around.
Sign of the devil.
Yeah, that's very, very pertinent, very fitting. You move around the back of the house, and you see, not too far off in the distance, a figure. You can't quite make out who it is or what it is. And it runs off into the shadows. And you actually look in through the window and you see Turner pull out this blue-green, very old-looking amulet in this, a symbol you don't recognize, and it looks heavy and almost glistening, and he like slams it down on the table in front of the other men, and they are all kind of looking at it. And then you hear this drum beating kind of in your ears almost. Can't tell where it would be coming from.
I would keep my focus on this figure that I saw and follow after, because that wouldn't stand out to me as something, because I wouldn't know what it is. But I saw a figure run into the shadows, so I actually want to pick up the pace.
Yep, you kind of get into it's dark out, but it's still just kind of evening time, late afternoon. And you're kind of led through a few alleys. You basically just lose track of it, but you smell... Has your character been to the marina and seen the whale?
Yeah, I think I would have been.
Okay, so yeah, that smell, that same smell, even though you're nowhere near the marina, is just like permeating your nose. But you don't see any sign of whatever you were just chasing. Or whoever.
I want to look around for any sort of clues, anything might have dropped. Something recently disturbed by somebody passing through, like something knocked over or anything like that.
You can make an investigation roll.
Okay.
Human, occupation,
And specialty. Look for it because I'm a detective.
specialty. Yep.
Well, not a 6 this time, but I did get a 5.
You find footprints, but they're not. That's a barefoot footprint, and it's not human. It's larger. It has almost these weird clawed markings where the toes should be. It's wide, and it's slick and slimy, as of it left like water, like a little pool almost of water in its stead. And you find a couple of these footprints, but they dead end at a wall in a dead end part of an alley. Just the wall of another building.
Say the last part? It comes to an end. What?
Just a dead end, like a wall. There's no door, just an alleyway between two buildings.
What the hell is this nonsense? He says it out loud to himself, and he's just looking all over the area, looking for. I'll search for secret doors. I'm playing too much D&D.
You need the moonlight to read them. All those moonlight.
Yeah. I'm just gonna look further in that area, trying to see whatever. I just looked up. Police started carrying guns in the mid 1800s when the Colt revolver became possible.
Draw your gun.
So I have a billy club because that would have still been left over from earlier, and then I will have a Colt revolver if that's permitted. But I will draw the gun. And what is the building that it's? If I know the town well enough, what is? It's like the back of a building or something like that. What is the front of it? Do I know?
Yeah, it's probably just like a larger home or a shared home. You're kind of in the slumish area, but not quite where Kip and a lot of fishermen live. It's a little bit nicer. But you are off. You kind of followed this trail, and it is seeming to go in the direction of Bonfire Cliff and the quarry. But you specifically followed the footprints into this alley, and then they just almost disappear facing this dead end. You could roll another investigation if you wanted. If you do, I'm gonna have you roll an insight dice with it as well.
Sure. I take the last one. Says if you risk your mind to succeed, it's a green line.
Yeah. And then add one more for your specialty. If you get a 6.
There's another
And
6.
You did. Man.
Yeah, he's gonna go insane real fast.
Man.
Don't go through two characters before I can go through one, Andy.
Yeah, I fear that actually now.
You feel something drip onto your hat.
Oh dear, it's above.
Oh,
and then another. And you look up, and hanging almost against the wall, it looks as if it's been kind of plastered to the wall, is a man whom you don't recognize, who is very dead, and it looks as if his eyes have been torn out,
And
and
how is
not
he suspended?
surgically. There's this like ichor and this kind of like almost what you would think looks like seaweed or some kind of thick resin that's kind of like holding him to the wall. And that's what's dripping on you. It looks like as if it's melting. It looks like this weird goo.
he has a
And
father's outfit on.
and is there any way to get up to the body?
Yeah, you could probably
Fire escape or
find
any?
a way up close enough. Yeah, it's it looks like this alley is kind of used for like trash, and there's some boxes and crates back here for storage. You could definitely get a little bit higher and pull him down. You find that the goo that's kind of plastered him to the wall is not very strong and feels as if it would be fresh. It's very wet and malleable, and you can kind of pull the body down.
Prior to doing that, I will blow my police whistle.
On an off note, does it, just so visually, and when it's relayed later, does it look like when we cleared Kip's house?
Yes.
Okay.
So if you hear this police whistle, because he's really not too far away from the Watley house, you hear the police whistle blowing, and
Oh. I feel like it's a little staggered in time, so that's why I was to know how much I.
I think it's only slightly staggered because it's all happening pretty fast. So y'all are just looking at the amulet, kind of analyzing it, and we can go back to that conversation in a second. But so, Constable, you pull the body down and you kind of search it, and you find this tiny glass sphere that almost looks like it's kind of shimmery and shadowy, as if there's mist inside of it. It fits in the palm of your hand, and that you have no real idea what it is. But that's the only thing on the body. There's nothing else. No money, no identity, no keys.
I don't recognize who it is.
No.
And they don't have like an attire on of some sort.
They're wearing very kind of normal civilian clothing. Just looks like it could be any normal townsfolk.
Okay, but there's not like, it doesn't look like sailors. You whether
Right.
you go when they're going out, or it doesn't look like
I figured
super
that's
hot
yeah,
body.
no. Yeah, it would be hard to tell. You can't tell their occupation by their clothing. They just look like it's a younger man, maybe in his late 20s.
All right, I'm leaving the body right where it's at because I'm going to need help getting it down. Um, although I am a little
Okay.
bit of a big man, but
Yeah, this is a fairly small town. Is it you and the other and the sheriff, and that's it?
probably.
Yeah.
Because I was like, you're whistling to whom exactly?
Well, it's just procedure. It's just what I'm used to from the bigger city I came from.
He's very
Oh,
by the books.
I know. I was gonna say. I just that was the funny part. I was like, I hope the sheriff's nearby. You might just have to go get him.
Back in the house, you slam the medallion down on the table. They're kind of looking at it. It looks shiny and shimmery and wet. And Hapsbury goes, "Where did you find this?"
We found it next to the poor old mayor, or at least the late father did, in a desk somewhere.
Watley picks it up and cradles it a little and says, I can feel the power of this artifact. It's emanating a disturbing energy. You might not be able to see it, but I can see a glow about it. Blackness and haze. An unknowable depth. It says, this token, it's calling to something. I think this was put into the mayor's office by someone else. I don't see any reason why he would have had such a thing.
Well, it supports your theory there, Hapsbury. The calling can't be anything good. And I'm thinking we need to be rid of it if possible.
Watley says, I will hold on to it if I might. I would study it. I might be able to glean some more information or see into the world it comes from.
You think that'd be smart with all the things going on?
He kind of smirks at you and says, I have ways of protecting myself from spiritual forces. And probably at that point is when you hear, like, the police whistle going.
I kind of hear it and I go, so did the father. And how far did that get him? Is that Watley laughing or is that you laughing?
That was just me laughing at you. That's funny. Okay, what do you do?
I don't.
I think at the police whistle, Hapsbury would be like, look, I gotta go. All right, Turner, we can meet later. Let's meet later tonight at the church.
You said you pulled your deal there, Hapsbury. I've told you all I know.
I don't know much more than what I've told you, but I'll see what else I can find out.
Very. Just trying to think if there's anything else I need to. Very well. At the church. What time?
He says, meet me there at midnight.
No. 6 meetings. No. He goes. Very well. And out of question, you haven't seen Kip?
Haven't seen Kip since we got back.
Oh. He's also missing. Keep an eye on yourself, Hapsbury.
You too, O'Neill. He'll leave out the front.
And I know this guy wants to keep the amulet, and I'm not sure that's the best idea, but does it look like he wants it because it has power, or he actually is just inherently interested in it, if I'm able to tell that?
You probably wouldn't really know. You might be a little suspicious, but also you know he's acting just extremely curious.
Well, what's his name again? Already forgotten. Watley.
Watley.
Watley. Well,
Lawrence
Watley, I have no problem with you studying it, but there might be someone else who's also as good as studying it. Perhaps if you two put your brains together, perhaps something else could be done.
Oh yes, who are you thinking of? Someone in town?
well, someone new to town, so to speak. Although I've kind of lost track of him a little bit, and I kind of place his top hat. I don't know if the guys see if he's seen him at all, but I'll put the top hat next to him. Fellow wearing this. He was with us, but disappeared. He said he was staying at the seaside. That's where I was gonna go check next.
I have
Oh,
not.
no.
There's
Huh?
no visitors to town have come to see me for my services, other than that reporter.
Well, it's a friend of Georgina's. So, and you seen her?
Just forgot her name. Mary Jo Ellen. Georgina was the bakery owner who was dating your brother.
Yeah.
And Mary Jo is the school teacher who was friends. Because you're talking about Ivan. Okay. He says, oh, well, she and I have never quite seen eye to eye. She's a rather religious woman. But I shall seek her out, and perhaps she knows where to find her friend. What makes you think he would be interested in such things?
He's a professor of some kind, anthropology, something like that.
I see. Well, perhaps he will be a valuable source then. I shall seek him out. I may hold on to this.
If you don't mind, I could hold on to it considering people have gone missing quite recently. If you meet me at the seaside, I have no problem handing it over there. I've already proven long enough to hold on to it now. Even with your ways of protection.
Kind of reluctantly passes it back to you without a fight.
Any of those protector's ways shield me, so to speak? Turner kind of says half mockingly, but also half not.
He'll give you a half smile back and say, I'll pray for you, Mr. O'Neill. Now, if you'll excuse me, I have some things I might attend to. And he tries to get you to leave.
I will do so. And just on a quick look around, I don't see any golden masks or any randomness lying around, right?
No, there is a lot of like weird esoteric stuff, and he has some animal skulls and like a lot of flowers and herbs displayed, but nothing really that resonates with you from what you've been experiencing.
Okay. And with that, I'm afraid I'm probably interested in the whistle, so I shall go towards the whistle.
You find
So I'm meeting at midnight with Hapsbury. I'm meeting with someone else, I believe.
Yeah, I don't remember. I feel like there was someone else you were supposed. Oh, it was it was Thune to meet. It was supposed to meet with the father at the church later tonight. Forgot about that. Well, he'll be there.
We'll all be there apparently, because
You'll be there now. Yeah. So you find the constable in an alley not too far away, and
Because he's still blowing the
whale.
whistle every now and then.
you'll hear Turner walk around and go, "Stop blowing the damn whistle! You're the only one in town."
I
Unless
turn,
you're talking about the sheriff.
pistol in hand. Who goes? Oh, Turner! Give me a hand with this. I forgot I'm not in Boston.
Turner looks up to hear what this is and then goes, "Oh, geez, another dead body." Okay. And I'm assuming I recognize this gunk.
It's almost exactly what Matthew had turned into when he disappeared.
Huh. Does it look like to be the same as what Matthew had on?
No, totally different look. definitely a different person and completely human, other than his eyes looking as
Wait,
if they were ripped out.
I feel like if I'm gonna recognize anyone, it'd be Jeff and his clothes. Does it look like Jeff or clothes that he had?
No, yeah, this you actually have no idea who this is. You feel like you've never seen this person before.
Okay. Because I feel like I'd even recognize Jeff's clothes, so that's why I was like, if it's Jeff, that's unfortunate, but
Yeah,
I'd
no,
probably.
you would definitely know if it was your brother.
Okay.
Do I see any look on Turner's face of like he's not surprised to see this? You know, because he's seen this before. Is there anything that's like any body
I,
language or?
I'd say at this point, Turner's just kind of like gives a sigh, like maybe like he's seen this before, but he's also seen a lot of shit today in the past day and a half. So he's
Do you
kind of just like
recognize who this is?
not in the state he's in.
Can you help me get the body down? I'm just one, and even if Edward known, he isn't going to come. You know this.
Yeah. And I kind of start to climb up and take out my knife. Find anything on the body?
I haven't had a chance. I holster my pistol and secure it in its holster.
So, okay. So as I get up to the body, I'm gonna look to see if I see anything on it before I cut him down. It's gonna look like I'm cutting him down, but gonna probably take a second.
It has a distinct lack of any valuables or, um, like there's nothing on him, nothing in his pockets.
And
The constable did find the glass thing.
why
I don't know.
yeah.
Did you say? Were you just not gonna tell him about that, Andy?
Not at the moment. I'm just concerned about getting him
Okay.
down.
Yeah, I just wanted to make sure we're on the same page that you have that.
Oh yeah,
glass
it's in my
sphere.
pocket,
Okay. Good.
Okay.
my coat
With that
pocket.
being the case, and me being closer to this guy, I still don't recognize who it could potentially be. Markings, even with triple skin and eyes gouged out. I don't see any tattoos, anything that would stick out to me. Or
Nope.
all right.
I mean, the town is of a size that you would know a lot of people, maybe even most people, but not necessarily everybody.
Okay. Now
Especially if they weren't like in your line of work.
and well, what I could tell is you said this person's in her younger, early or late 20s.
Yeah,
Or
like
was.
late.
Okay, so it's not like it's Kip. Oh,
If it were somebody you recognize, I would tell you.
okay. So I cut him down and I'll lower him down to the best of my ability.
Yeah, well, we're helping down. So,
Yeah.
what
How
is
much
the
does it
stuff
weigh?
that covers him? And I'll give a good look at Turner. You've seen this sort of thing before. The look on your face.
Well, let's just say it ain't surprising, especially after I've been to Kip's home.
This whole business of this last couple days is just. Well, it's working on my last nerve, and I'm not getting anything out of Ed. You seem to know a lot more about it. I'd like to work together with you on this. Now, you don't know me very well, but I'm a man of the law, and I want to get to the bottom of it.
Probably in the first time in a while. Turner has a genuine laugh. He goes, "You wanted to work with me to solve all this."
I think you
Ah,
have already been looking into this and have knowledge that I have not been given. It's knowledge that I could use.
aye. Well, I'll say you seem more on the level than. I've already forgotten his name. Ed. Than Ed. I'll give you that much.
Ed's a fool. And I don't mind saying that, even though he is my superior. He spits.
Oh, well, Constable, I think we can get on in this manner. That is, of course, and I have a feeling your guy's not great at lying.
No. No, you can just tell from his demeanor that he is a matter of fact, goes to bed at a decent time, the same time every night, has the same breakfast.
Not after today.
Maybe not. But,
So that I'm going to assume then that this statement will still be accurate when I say it. That is, if you'll be sharing everything, including the thing you found on his body. Because I'm assuming you did not have a straight face when saying that. You didn't like lying.
well, don't know if it's very significant, but he had this. And I'll pull out the sphere. You say it was shimmering, or was there smoke?
It looks as if there's just this moving smoke inside of it. This black, it's like kind of a black crystal.
All right, so
Sphere,
when I
perfect,
first
perfectly
pocketed it, I was more concerned. I just kind of grabbed it, put it in my pocket. I was more concerned of just the scene and securing the scene. And now that I pull it back out, so well, he had this, and then I just stopped mid-sentence. What the hell am I looking at?
Not going to be the last strange thing you see, Constable. And I kind of look at it, and do I see anything? I mean, I see the same thing, I'm assuming, more or less.
Yep.
Holding it and kind of moving it towards my other now 3 or 4 objects of evidence in my jacket. Does it seem to react in any way? Any of them?
Not really.
You're keeping those things
Okay.
together, man. Man, you are going to be making a new character soon too, I think.
Yeah. They're all in the safety bag. You know.
To complete this one story, we went through 3 complete parties.
But I kind of look at it. No, but I'm knowing some people that might, and I kind of put it in my jacket. But I have no clue who this fella is, and I know most people in town. Granted, he's a little messed up, but even still. Well, how about this? I'll go check to see if one of the fellows is at the seaside. You meet me there. Obviously, you probably have to get this fella to Mr.
George Stern.
Stern.
Yeah, Mr. Stern.
He's one person I can trust in this town.
You find any trace of my brother out back here?
No, I saw a figure moving into the shadows. I followed it. Strange footprints. And then I found this guy.
Actually, I have a better plan. You stay here and watch the body. I'll go grab the doctor and the mortician.
All right. And hang on to that little bauble. I don't know if it's significant or not. Just trying to
Oh,
think if,
they all seem to be.
just trying to think if police procedure at this time probably wouldn't have been collecting everything as evidence.
Probably not. Probably, I also imagine in your mind, you're like, I just offered him to be my deputy.
Yeah.
I just feel, no, it's not field promotion, but, whatever you're sworn in right now.
A field commission.
Yeah.
Field commission. I deputize you. That's a great place to stop. You got to stop, right, Andy?
Yeah, I do.
Okay, cool. No, we can open up like in the alley with the doctor and the mortician there.
Yeah. Just want to
And
prove the
have a
doctor's
little-
not
that'll be
insane.
our
He
opening
has a
scene.
second patient.
Yeah.
Granted, I might be driving him towards insanity, but just so he doesn't think he's lost his marbles. Quite yet.
Ooh, I'm excited for the next one. And we might even. That's the thing. I'm curious how this is gonna end. You know, it's like we could do this forever if we really wanted to. I feel like.
I'm still trying to
Uh,
piece it together. I just have like 4 clues in my jacket now.
well, that's kind of the whole point, though. Is like piecing it together is over the next 100 years. This is like the opening. This is like the prologue, almost.
Oh yeah.
And then you'll like have new characters in different time periods that are dealing with similar things, and everything like ties together. I feel like next time there'll be some interesting revelations and almost like a cliffhanger, and you could almost call that an arc after the next one if we play a full session, especially.
Oh, I mean, my guy was like, again, his main goal is to find his brother. He's just following that trail wherever it goes.
Right, exactly. I can definitely see there being a culmination and kind of a climax next time, which could easily end the arc depending on what happens. So I'm stoked for it.
Oh, yeah. Well, I have 3 potential people in on the cult. So,
Yeah.
I'm thinking my goal with this game is to see how many characters I can have.
That's that's the way Jake came into it, and he's just somehow keeping his cool every fucking time.
yeah. I felt bad because I rolled first and rolled a 1, and then you immediately rolled a 6 again, and I was like, oh no. But,
Yeah.
It was so epic. What an epic way to go out, though. Like, holy shit.
did maybe the
I missed
father drop his rosary as well? Could to turn and pick that up, and now it's his way to
I-
Yeah. Oh,
remember the father.
it was in his hand. Yeah. You
Yeah,
could
I
say
was
you have his
holding it.
rosary now.
I like to
Have
imagine I just wrapped it and
and,
pulled it
and,
close now. It's
and my handkerchief.
Oh man, I'm so stoked for the next scene at the seaside.
I don't
I
know.
know
Well, I'm
exactly
hoping to
what's gonna
find.
happen.
I'm hoping to find what's his name, Ivor or what? I messed up the
Ivan.
name. Yeah, Ivan.
And
Because I hope.
did you like that little like the
What?
professor being named Ivan? It's a little yeah, what are they called? Easter egg, sort of.
Uh, well, I was hoping
Oh,
he would. I
yeah,
was
I
like,
thought that. I saw that and I thought, did he write it? Was he a descendant of those who wrote it? I couldn't remember the history of the book, so.
but I know he
I'm
wanted to talk. I know he wanted to talk to me, and then I turned around. He was gone. I was like, I was just helping this guy get up. I was like, where'd he go?
Well, I think his last words to you were like, "Can I confide something in you?" or something. I can't remember
Yeah.
exactly.
Yeah, it was like that, and then I was like, one moment, and I knocked the guy off the other guy, and then I turned back and he was gone. I was like, what?
God, he's mysterious.
So then I, so then I was like, okay, well maybe I'll be able to meet him back at the seaside. And then I was like, I didn't, So as soon as Habsburg tries to get him, I'm like, I'm getting all information I can out of you before you leave, dude. 'Cause I might not see you again. Every person we come in contact with
Everyone's
has either killed themselves or disappeared, and I can't find them again.
yeah, they're somewhere. They're all
Kip's
somewhere.
missing. Yeah, Kip's missing. For well, Lamore's still alive as far as I know. He's pretty much in the seaside. Bigham killed himself.
It's not a big town, too, so they're all going to be dead or insane very soon.
Oh,
So
yeah.
February, let's see, February 10th.